It's got whips or something going out of it.
From a vampire hunter defeating death in jaw-dropping fashion to the eerie sight of Sukuna flatlining the Shibuya district, these are the most visually impressive anime fights you'll ever see. Number 10, Sunraku vs. Weathermon. To start off the list, we've got Sunraku vs. Weathermon. I mean, just look at that animation. In Sunraku's quest to become the best player in Shangri-La Frontier, he challenges the undead samurai Weathermon, and goodness gracious is the battle a visual masterpiece. Sunraku and Arthur engage Weathermon in a sword fight, and using holy water, they make a crack in Weathermon's defenses. Sunraku changes his gear and goes in on the offense with a flurry of flashy special attacks, while Weathermon responds by revealing his true power and kills Sunraku using Thunderclap and Sky Clear. The VFX on these moves is gorgeous, and the seamless blend of each sword swing makes this moment eye-candy to look at. Next, Weatherman keeps on killing Sunraku, and then Sunraku revives himself, and this plays on repeat for some minutes. But then Sunraku manages to combine two weapons, increase his luck stat, and deliver a fatal blow that pierces through Weathermon's sword, ending the fight and laying the undead swordsman to rest. When you look at it in hindsight, Sunraku vs. Weathermon checks all of the boxes of what a breathtaking fight needs to have, and if you haven't watched this entire encounter yet, don't make the mistake of sleeping on this one. Number 9, Gogeta vs. Broly. Of course, Dragon Ball making the cut was inevitable, but it's likely not the fight scene you expected. While Dragon Ball has had many memorable fights over the decades, there truly only is one that's been visually stunning: Gogeta vs. Broly. After an angry Broly absolutely ragdolls Goku and Vegeta, the bittersweet rivals swallow their pride and use the fusion transformation to turn into Gogeta. And for those who've been fans since the Z days, that's Morse code for an epic battle on the horizon. Gogeta demolishes Broly. The Saiyans go bananas, clashing shin to shin at the speed of sound. Gogeta's manhandling further enrages the Wild Saiyan, and Broly goes legendary Super Saiyan mode that's as beautifully animated as it is exciting to look at. After a bit of back and forth, Gogeta throws the Soul Crusher at Broly, to which Broly replies with a blast of his own. The vibrant color palette of the transformations and explosions will have you gawking at them all day long. With this being a high-budget movie and all, the animation studio spared no expense for the visuals, and that is especially true in the last act of the fight. As expected, the brawl ends with Broly being subdued, but that isn't before Gogeta can cap it off with another phenomenally animated Kamehameha. Number 8, Saber vs. Berserker. The Fate Stay Night series is famous for a number of reasons, and peak animation quality does happen to be one of them. From its many iterations, Heaven's Feel 2 Lost Butterfly has the most visually stunning fight, and that becomes clear when you watch Saber vs. Berserker for the first time. The two servants tap into some dark powers for this one. Watching them is like spectating two wild animals put in a no-holds-barred fight, but the only difference here is that they are jacked with superpowers and the animation is beyond good. You can tell Ufotable had a blank check going into this one. Berserker and Saber continue to go at it for a long time, shoving their fists into one another again and again. This dazzling display of might between Beauty and the Beast is unforgettable, and it takes art direction to a whole new level. Near the end, Saber jams Excalibur right down the middle of Berserker, and the post-explosion visual effects are so amazing that you are sure to skyrocket off dopamine. Number 7, Sukuna vs. Mahoraga. Studio Mappa has become a household name in anime. Attack on Titan, Chainsaw, Dorohedoro, the level of animation they consistently produce every year has been an absolute treat, but in 2023, they outdid themselves with Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Sukuna vs. Mahoraga simply takes the cake for best animation in a fight scene that year. To stop the curses running rampant in Shibuya, Megumi Fushiguro unseals the unstoppable Mahoraga. The unsealed Mahoraga is about to go on a rampage when the king of curses, Ryomon Sukuna, intervenes. Sukuna and Mahoraga drag each other across the entire breadth of Shibuya, slamming through buildings and using the entire city infrastructure as a battleground.
Open.
You can see the beautiful city skyline animated in the backdrop as Sukuna chops up Mahoraga, and when Mahoraga proves to be a handful, Sukuna uses his domain expansion, Malevolent Shrine, which mercilessly slashes everything within a 140-meter radius. This scene is so intricately detailed that you can even see the hundreds of tiny cuts being animated. What's more shocking is that this bit wasn't fully animated because of budgeting issues that came up during production. Makes you wonder how well it could have turned out.
Malevolent Shrine.
Number 6. Trevor Belmont beats death. Castlevania is second to none when it comes to the visuals. Events in the anime are depicted on massive world-ending scales, like the final battle between Trevor Belmont and Death. Starving for souls, an angry Death wants to unleash an insane Dracula on the world, but Trevor Belmont, Sify, and Alucard arrive in the nick of time to stop the ritual. Death and Trevor afterwards have a standoff, and a stunningly choreographed battle begins. Trevor uses the remains of Dracula's castle to maneuver himself across the battlefield and unload on Death with his chained whip, while Death in return swings its scythe to kill Trevor. The animation during this scene is buttery smooth, with the fast-paced movement and explosive attacks, and just when you think it can't get any better, Trevor pulls himself out of the jaws of defeat and goes God mode. Using the vampire killer, Trevor creates a fiery symbol and launches it at Death. Then, by charging up all his might, he rushes at the creature and stabs it in the forehead, effectively ridding the world of the bygone monster. And then just look at the visuals. They are to die for. Castlevania's perfect blend of gothic animation and dazzling action choreography is a combo that's hard to come by, and when you get used to it, you want to keep watching it over and over again. Number 5. Maru and Kiruko vs. Monster. Heavenly Delusion is the most underrated anime from recent times. Everything from the quality of its story to its stunning visuals went under the radar of anime fans, but with this entry, hopefully we can change that. As Maru and Kiruko navigate through a decrepit wasteland in search of a place called Heaven, they run into some hoodlums. Luckily, Maru is an absolute ninja underneath, so he quickly puts them in their place in brilliant fashion. At the same time, Kiruko manages to find a clear shot and fires her insane Kiru beam. The animation is chef's kiss, even more so when Maru and Kiruko run into a Kiruko monster. During this part, the drawings get even crispier as Maru and Kiruko try to bamboozle and then blindside the Kiruko. The animator sure did overtime to put this one out, so if you haven't watched Heavenly Delusion, might as well if stunning anime fight scenes are your thing. Number 4. Shinra vs. Sho. Anime visuals have never been hotter than they are in Fire Force. Eyes, flames, character design, Fire Force's art style is one of the best in class. Take Shinra vs. Sho for example. Shinra tries to stop his deranged cult-leading little brother Sho, but that's easier said than done. As all hell breaks loose, Shinra ramps into Sho like a fiery hot demon, and Sho replies in kind with scorching sword attacks. It's a dance of flames playing on screen with every minute showcasing captivating animation. While the visuals are nothing short of breathtaking, just take a minute to feel that euphoric sound design. It's straight fire. Now that's a combo to melt your eyes and ears. Number 3, Demon Slayers vs. Daki and Gyutaro. It'd be a crime to not mention Demon Slayer in a list of anime with stunning visuals. This anime has had the world trapped in a chokehold for the past 5 years, and its animation quality is reaching new heights every season. A perfect example of this is in the Entertainment District Showdown, where the Demon Slayers face off against the Upper Moon 6 duo, Daki and Gyutaro. In spectacular Demon Slayer fashion, an unforgettable sequence of blades clashing, bone shattering, and heads flying plays out. Tengen, Zenitsu, Tanjiro, Inosuke, absolutely no one holds back their breathing techniques. We get to witness innumerable unique moves, each one of them brought to life with great detail and fluid animation. The entire Entertainment District is in ruins by the end of it, and while it's a sad sight to see, everything is so visually well adapted from the manga that you can't help but look on in bewilderment. Number 2, Levi vs. Zeke. Attack on Titan comes as no surprise for anime with stunning visuals. Pretty much its entirety can be added to this video. That said, no matter how hard you try, Levi vs. Zeke will always take home first prize as the best battle in Attack on Titan history. This fight had it all, a gut-wrenching lead-up where Erwin and the Corps charged to their death, a gloomy tone set up for the climax, and the actual moment where Levi cuts up Zeke brought to life in iconic animation. Irrespective of how many times you revisit it, watching Levi defeat the Beast Titan is a jaw-dropping experience. It's the pinnacle of Attack on Titan's quality, and if great visuals are what you're craving, this is the perfect anime fight to look up. Number 1, Zoro vs. King. You just can't go wrong with Zoro vs. King given the topic under discussion. Whether it's an amazing fight scene, memorable moves, drawings that will blow you away, or all three all together at the same time, One Piece's 1,000 plus episodes more than deliver. The latest instance of this is found in Zoro's battle with King. The legendary three-sword style swordsman Zoro unlocks his King of Hell style and then clashes with the infamous King in a one-on-one battle that shakes the world. Each frame of Zoro fighting King pushes the animation to its peak. As King hurls magma-like flames onto Zoro, the notorious swordsman cuts right through and launches the three-sword serpent, 103 Mercy's Dragon Damnation. There's an epic clash between the two that sends seismic shockwaves, and as expected, Zoro pulls another one out of the fire for the team, and the Straw Hat Pirates live to fight another day.